What if the last performance you ever saw was the final goodbye of a legend? In this video, we take you inside the shocking moments when artists, musicians, and performers met their untimely end live on stage, leaving us with haunting memories that will never fade. Tommy Cooper, April 15th, 1984. What was supposed to be another night of laughter turned into a real-life tragedy. Tommy Cooper, the legendary magician and comedian, was in the middle of his act, performing in front of a packed audience and millions watching live on TV. Then, out of nowhere, he clutched his chest and collapsed. The crowd erupted in laughter, thinking it was just another one of his signature blunders. But this time, it wasn't a joke. Behind the scenes, panic set in as host Jimmy Tarbuck and fellow performers realized something was terribly wrong. Cameras stayed fixed on the stage, completely unaware of the unfolding crisis. Cooper had suffered a massive heart attack. While the audience eagerly awaited the next act, medics fought desperately to save him behind the curtain. Despite their efforts, he was pronounced dead shortly after reaching the hospital. Mitsuharu Misawa, June 13th, 2009. A night that shook the world of professional wrestling. Mitsuharu Misawa, a legend in Japanese wrestling, was known for his high-flying moves and unmatched technical skill. But during a live tag team match in Hiroshima, everything took a horrific turn. As Misawa was lifted for a suplex, the atmosphere in the arena shifted in an instant. He collapsed in the ring, completely unresponsive. The audience, initially unsure of what was happening, quickly realized this was no scripted stunt. The broadcast took a grim turn as referees, fellow wrestlers, and medical staff rushed in, performing CPR right there in the ring. Fans in the stands and those watching at home held their breath, hoping for a miracle. Despite the immediate emergency response, Misawa was rushed to the hospital, where he was tragically pronounced dead. Steve Irwin, September 4th, 2006. A tragic day that stunned the world. Steve Irwin, the beloved crocodile hunter, was in the middle of filming Ocean's Deadliest, a documentary about Earth's most dangerous marine creatures. While snorkeling in the Great Barrier Reef, he encountered an 8-foot stingray, an animal that typically avoids humans. But in a shocking turn, the stingray suddenly whipped its tail, striking Irwin straight in the chest with its razor-sharp barb. The attack pierced his heart, causing a fatal wound. His crew sprang into action, pulling him from the water and desperately performing CPR, but it was too late. Cameras had been rolling the entire time, though out of respect for his family. The footage was never released. Irwin's sudden death at just 44 years old sent shockwaves across the globe, leaving fans devastated over the loss of a man whose passion for wildlife conservation was unmatched. Carl Walanda, March 22, 1978. A heart-stopping moment in circus history. Carl Walanda, the legendary high-wire artist, was attempting one of his most daring feats yet, a tightrope walk between the towers of the Condado Plaza Hotel in San Juan, Puerto Rico. At 73 years old, he was still defying gravity, proving that age couldn't stop him from pushing the limits of danger. But that day, nature had other plans. Strong winds whipped through the air as Walanda carefully made his way across the wire. Then, in a horrifying turn, he lost his balance and plunged to his death. The moment was caught on camera, though it wasn't aired live. When the footage eventually surfaced, it left audiences in shock. This was the brutal reality of life on the wire. His tragic fall marked the end of an era, forever cementing Walanda as a fearless daredevil who lived and died on the edge. March 12, 2023. An unimaginable tragedy struck the music world. Pedro Henrique, a renowned Brazilian guitarist known for his electrifying stage presence and jaw-dropping skill, was in the middle of an intense live performance at a music festival in São Paulo when disaster struck. At just 39 years old, he suddenly collapsed on stage, leaving the audience in stunned silence. Fans watched in disbelief as emergency crews rushed in, desperately trying to revive him. Henrique had spent years making a name for himself, dazzling crowds with his soulful, passionate playing, both as a solo artist and with major bands. But despite the frantic efforts to save him, he was pronounced dead upon arrival at the hospital. The cause? A heart attack, sending shockwaves through the music community. Fans, fellow musicians, and loved ones were left reeling over the sudden loss of a true guitar virtuoso. Valencia, Prime. September 12, 2022, an unforgettable loss in the performance world. Valencia Prime, a beloved Philadelphia drag star and proud, plus-size dancing diva, was lighting up the stage at Taboo Lounge and Sports Bar when tragedy struck. In the middle of hosting her signature showcase, Prime Time, she suddenly collapsed in front of the stunned audience. Despite frantic efforts from medical personnel, she was rushed to Jefferson Hospital, where she was heartbreakingly pronounced dead. The medical examiner later confirmed the cause: atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, ruled as natural causes. Her sudden passing sent shockwaves through the LGBTQ+ community and beyond. Heartfelt tributes flooded in from friends, fellow performers, and devoted fans who cherished her as a radiant, uplifting presence in the performance scene. Colonel Bruce Hampton. On May 1, 2017, the legendary Colonel Bruce Hampton, an icon in the jam band world, was tragically taken from us during what was meant to be a celebratory live show in Atlanta. His 70th birthday concert was a star-studded event that saw Hampton jamming alongside a stellar lineup, including musicians from his famous groups like the Hampton Grease Band and the Aquarium Rescue Unit. As the high-energy performance rocked on, Hampton suddenly collapsed on stage, leaning his arm against the speaker, as though it was another one of his trademark spontaneous antics. At first, both the audience and his fellow performers assumed it was part of the theatrical spectacle he was so well known for. But as the minutes passed, it became all too clear that something was seriously wrong. Medical teams rushed onto the scene, and despite their best efforts to revive him, Hampton was declared dead later that evening after being taken to a nearby hospital. His death sent shockwaves through the world of music, particularly within the jam band and improvisational scenes, leaving behind an irreplaceable legacy. Barbara Weldons. On July 19, 2017, Barbara Weldons, a gifted French singer-songwriter, suffered a tragic fate during her live performance at the Léo Ferré Festival in Gordes, France. Known for her stunning voice and creative artistry, she had just released her debut album and was quickly rising in the music scene. While performing barefoot, a signature part of her style, she tragically stepped onto faulty electrical equipment, which delivered a fatal shock, causing her to collapse on stage. Despite urgent medical attempts to revive her, she was declared dead at the scene, leaving the music world in utter disbelief. At just 35 years old, her untimely passing shattered a career that was destined for greatness. Juan Jamalon. On November 5, 2023, Filipino radio broadcaster Juan Jamalon, also known as Johnny Walker Jamalon, met a tragic fate during a live broadcast. A beloved voice on 94.7 Gold Mega Coloma FM, Jamalon was celebrated for his upbeat programs that spread good vibes and humor, not controversy. Early in the morning at his home in Coloma, Misami, two men arrived under the guise of announcing lost items. One of them held a staff member at gunpoint, while the other stormed into the radio booth and fired 2 shots at Jamalon. The attacker then stole a necklace and sped away on a motorcycle. The entire brutal incident was captured on a Facebook live stream, leaving listeners and viewers utterly shocked by the senseless act of violence. On March 22, 2017, S.B. Hashian, celebrated drummer of the legendary rock band Boston, lost his life during a live performance on a cruise ship. Born on August 17, 1949, Hashian was 67 when he passed and had been crucial in shaping Boston's iconic sound on classic albums like their self-titled debut and Don't Look Back. While performing aboard the Legends of Rock cruise, a special event honoring classic rock, Hashian suddenly collapsed on stage. The cruise ship, sailing off the coast of the United States, witnessed immediate medical efforts, but despite all attempts, he was declared dead. Later reports revealed that Hashian had been battling kidney cancer in the months leading up to the show, making his sudden collapse and passing a devastating blow to the rock community and leaving fans in utter shock. On April 17, 1987, comedian and actor Dick Shawn, famous for his roles in films like It's a Mad, 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 Mad World and The Producers, tragically passed away while performing live at the University of California, San Diego. During a comedy routine, Shawn suddenly collapsed on stage. At first, the audience thought it was part of his act, but soon, it became undeniable that something was seriously wrong. Shawn suffered a devastating heart attack and was rushed to the hospital, but sadly, he was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. At the age of 63, his sudden passing during a live performance shocked everyone who had admired his quirky and charismatic on-stage persona. Lillian Harden Armstrong, a pioneering American jazz pianist, composer, arranger, singer, and band leader, made groundbreaking contributions to the jazz world. Born on February 3, 1898 in Memphis, Tennessee, and also known as the second wife of Louis Armstrong, she performed with countless jazz bands and collaborated with top musicians like Earl Hines. After Louis Armstrong died on July 6, 1971, Lillian traveled to New York for his funeral, riding in the family car. Returning to Chicago with plans to work on her autobiography, she suddenly collapsed at the piano while performing at a televised memorial concert for Armstrong on August 27, 1971. She suffered a heart attack on the way to the hospital and passed away at 73. On May 31, 2022, the acclaimed Indian playback singer K.K., whose full name was Krishna Kumar Kunath, met his untimely end during a live performance. Celebrated for his versatile voice and lasting contributions to Bollywood music, K.K. was born on August 23, 1968, in Delhi. He embarked on his singing career in the 1990s and quickly soared to fame with his soulful, emotive voice. His mesmerizing melodies and dynamic stage presence earned him a special place in the hearts of fans everywhere. He recorded songs in multiple Indian languages: Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, and Bengali, with hits like Tup Tup from Hum Dil De Chukai, Sonam Pi Kapal from Hate Story, and Kaken from Kayak, captivating millions. During a live show at the Nasal Mancha Auditorium in Kolkata, KK suddenly collapsed on stage. Despite being rushed to a nearby hospital, he was declared dead on arrival due to cardiac arrest. At 54 years old, his unexpected demise left a significant void in the Indian music industry. On February 10, 2025, Zoltan, the Hungarian music icon, tragically met his end during a Swedish live TV show. While performing what may have been a live broadcast or a pre-recorded segment, he suddenly suffered a heart attack right on stage and collapsed in front of the camera. His shocking death ignited heated controversy, with German and Hungarian newspapers questioning the natural cause behind his passing. Many speculated whether it could have been something far darker, hinting that it might have been a planned murder. On March 11, 2023, Kosta Tich, a South African rapper and dancer, born Constantino Sugo, met a tragic end during his performance at the Ultra South Africa Music Festival in Johannesburg. While performing on stage, he collapsed not once, but twice. The second collapse proved fatal, despite rapid medical intervention. Despite every effort to save him, Kostatich was declared dead shortly after the incident. The exact cause of his death remains unknown, with speculation mounting that a seizure may have been to blame. Papa Wemba, the iconic Congolese musician who pioneered soukous music, tragically passed away on April 24, 2016, during a performance at the Femua Music Festival in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. While on stage, he suddenly collapsed, and despite immediate efforts to revive him, he was declared dead shortly after. Papa Wemba's groundbreaking career spanned decades, during which he inspired generations by blending traditional African rhythms with modern sounds, leaving an indelible mark on the music world with his lasting legacy. On October 30, 2015, the Romanian metal band Goodbye to Gravity endured a catastrophic tragedy during their album release event at the Collective nightclub in Bucharest. A malfunctioning pyrotechnics display ignited the club's soundproofing foam, sparking a devastating fire. The flames spread rapidly, leading to a stampede as panicked attendees scrambled to escape. In the midst of the chaos, 64 people tragically lost their lives, 4 of whom were band members: Vlad Tlea, Mi Alexandre, Bogdan Inashi, and Alex Pasu. The horrifying incident sparked intense national mourning and ignited massive protest over corruption and the lack of safety regulations in Romania. On April 4, 2016, Irma Boulevard, the renowned Indonesian dangdut singer famed for her bold performances, featuring a cobra draped around her neck, met a tragic fate during a live show in Kawang, West Java. While using a king cobra as a stage prop, she was bitten by the same snake she had showcased in her act. At first, she declined treatment, confident that the venom would not harm her. However, she soon collapsed and was rushed to the hospital, where she was declared dead. On November 30, 1996, Tiny Tim, the iconic American singer known for his distinctive falsetto voice and ukulele performances, especially his hit "Tiptoe Through the Tulips," suffered a fatal heart attack during a gala benefit in Minneapolis. He was rushed to the hospital, but tragically, he was declared dead shortly after arriving. On June 10, 2016, Christina Grimmie, a talented singer and former contestant on The Voice, lost her life after a concert in Orlando, Florida. While signing autographs for fans, a gunman suddenly approached and opened fire, and despite immediate medical intervention, she succumbed to her injuries. In the chaotic aftermath, an assailant, allegedly tackled by her brother, ended his own life. At just 22 years old, her shocking death left fans in deep mourning and marked a devastating loss for the music community. On December 8, 2004, Dimebag Darrell, widely recognized as the legendary guitarist for Pantera and Damageplan, was fatally shot during a Damageplan concert in Columbus, Ohio. A gunman stormed the stage and fired multiple shots at Darrell, killing him instantly. In addition to Darrell, 3 others lost their lives before the shooter was eventually subdued by a police officer. Known for his groundbreaking guitar work and high-energy performances, Darrell was only 38 years old when his life was tragically cut short. On May 23, 1999, during a WWE pay-per-view event called Over the Edge, wrestler Owen Hart suffered a tragic accident while performing a daring stunt, intended to descend into the ring from the rafters with a harness and grapple line. Something went disastrously wrong, sending him plummeting approximately 78 feet into the ring. Despite swift medical intervention, Owen Hart succumbed to his injuries. The official footage of his fatal fall has never been released by WWE. On March 24, 1991, Red Fox, the beloved comedian known for his role in the iconic television series Sanford and Son, collapsed while rehearsing a scene for his show The Royal Family. Rushed to the hospital, he was sadly pronounced dead shortly after arrival. His death was attributed to a heart attack, which he had suffered at the age of 68. On February 24, 2010, Da Bruno, a seasoned trainer at SeaWorld Orlando, met a tragic end during a routine interaction with an orca named Tikum. In an unexpected turn of events, the whale grabbed her and dragged her underwater. Despite heroic rescue efforts, Da Bruno tragically succumbed to her injuries. This shocking incident stunned the world and ignited widespread debates about animal captivity and the safety protocols in place for trainers. On May 11, 2019, Silver King, a Mexican wrestler and actor, suddenly collapsed in the ring during a wrestling match at the Roundhouse venue in Camden, London. He was pronounced dead shortly after the shocking incident. His unexpected death on stage left fans in utter disbelief and underscored the inherent dangers of live performance sports. On May 26, 2023, during a live performance in the Bronx, Juan Carlos Formel suffered a fatal heart attack at 59. The tragic incident abruptly ended his performance, and he was later confirmed dead, marking yet another sorrowful moment in live entertainment. On July 20, 1973, Bruce Lee, the iconic martial artist and actor famed for groundbreaking films like Enter the Dragon and his influential martial arts philosophy, died unexpectedly in Hong Kong while working on a film. He collapsed suddenly, and the official cause was cerebral edema, a dangerous swelling of the brain that may have been triggered by a reaction to a painkiller he had taken earlier. His death shocked the world and left an everlasting impact on both the film industry and the martial arts community. Just as tragically, on March 31, 1993, Brandon Lee, son of Bruce Lee and also an actor, lost his life during the filming of The Crow. While shooting a scene where his character was meant to be shot, a prop gun intended to fire blanks unexpectedly discharged a real bullet fragment. It later emerged that a bullet, lacking any powder to propel it, had lodged in the barrel during a previous scene. When the blank was fired, this lodged fragment was forcefully expelled and struck Brandon Lee in the abdomen. He collapsed on set and was rushed to the hospital, but despite several hours of surgery, he was pronounced dead. The official cause of death was determined to be a gunshot wound.